Hey everybody, this is Perch. Okay, I read this mail ahead of time, and I'm gonna admit, even though I'm replying to it here, I don't. I usually kind of understand. I play a little bit clueless. Sometimes it's not play, but I play clueless on this channel from time to time when I sense there's some obvious bait, or somebody's trying to get involved in one of the various YouTube drama things. By the way, I'm honestly curious. There's been an increase of videos in my feed or people reacting to kind of various shenanigans going on with streamers. Like there's a woman who's a streamer and her husband gets into an argument and like on the air. And on one hand, it's like, why is the camera still rolling? Like, why is she still on the air for this argument? I mean, it certainly bumps up engagement. And it's like, well, that's exactly why she's done it. So is it all just faked? Like, and what is the point? I guess I get why drama brings in clicks and views. So I get why creators would want to do that. But what I don't get is why you want to see it. Like what, how is this entertaining? It's like, I'd like to take the quality of a show like Big Brother and then reduce that quality by about 10x. Okay. And then I'd like to have it just, instead of, even half thought through dialogue, I'd like to have like just random screaming at times and fuzzy camera work. This will bring in 1 million views. How in the world? Anyway, let me read this down. But I'm hoping that one of you can kind of help provide some context here, because this was a new one on me. Okay, it says, "Dear Perch, you comment on a lot of things regarding comics, but one thing I haven't seen you comment on is the rise of disabled characters in comics and its ties to Marxist propaganda. As we all know, comic creators are trying to socially engineer how we feel about gay and lesbian rights, bisexual, transgender, etc., feminism, different races, and even map is in quotes. I don't know why. Map behaviors. But I rarely see people talking about the push to accept disabled people.
What are you doing?
The push for disabled people in media has ties back to various socialist and Marxist regimes.
Fuck.
And it feels like comics are using this as one more way to get to that communist utopia they are after. Okay.
Delete! Delete! Delete!
I'm not going to be that guy, but Marxist, socialist, communist, they're not all, it's not all exactly the same thing. I mean, okay, fair enough. Whatever. There's differences in there. I'm just saying, don't. All right. Would like to hear you comment on this topic, because more and more disabled characters are coming to comics, including a rumored all disabled issue from Marvel in their Voices line.
This is the bad place.
All right. It's a bad joke, but I'm sorry I have to make it. If it's Marvel Voices, then are the stories mute? Are we not covering mute people? And it's wrong, I know, but it's called Marvel Voices. It's like, it's right there. I can't. All right. Anyway, what say you? This topic has been covered on a lot of other channels, but I've never heard it on yours. Has it? Has it been covered on a lot of channels? All right. Fair enough. I don't. Okay. So from the start, I'll go here. I don't know really what in the cinnamon toast fuck this person is talking about. What is this a thing? Have we gotten there? Okay, and just to be fair, I did a quick search on this, and sure enough, there are I don't want to say a lot, but there's a handful of tweets regarding this topic, and a lot of it centers around an anime film called Josie the Tiger and the Fish, which is about a college student who falls in love with a woman on a wheelchair, and they fall in love or whatever. I haven't seen the movie, but I've seen clips of it. It features the guy rolling the girl around in a wheelchair. It looks sweet, to be honest. The girl looks, the girl looks. By the way, going into this was like going down a pit of horrors because when I looked at some of the tweets commenting on this movie, I did see a number of people talking about it. It had like two terrible groups in one. Two groups that if you could push a button and just eliminate, Thanos snapped them out of existence. We have one group saying that this is Marxist propaganda fetish content, which is what the letter writer was saying. So a number of people saying that. Again, I'm not getting it, but okay. And then we have another group that says this is the perfect epitome of the male fantasy, a woman that can't run away from him and get raped. So what in the ever loving shit? Sorry, what is the expression? We have to go back. I don't get it. Okay, so I don't understand why you're upset. Comics featuring disabled people. Look, I'll give you a kind of nerdy answer. There's a reason why you may see, and frankly, I don't think you do, but why you may see disabled people in comics and why it actually has a, some basis in storytelling, like where there's a twist there, because the idea is that you've got these greater than human powers, the ability to be gods, to fly around in the air, to shoot laser beams, to, the powers beyond mere mortals. And then they have a handicap that the person has is kind of a juxtaposition. It's good storytelling when you have those kinds of scenarios. That's why you would, you might have, you've had other things like Shazam is a boy and then he turns into a giant superhero like man. And so it's this idea that he's kind of a weak boy, but then he turns into a bigger character. Mark Miller did this with Superior. I think that character was handicapped too, wasn't he? I don't remember. But anyway, that's there are areas where it feels like it's not thought through carefully. There was that Flash character who had the walking sticks, or the Spider-Man character that in the multiverse that had the canes. There's a proper name for them. I promise I'm not being disrespectful. I just don't remember them, what they are. Anyway, and you had Barbara Gordon, who got paralyzed and was in the wheelchair. They stuck with that for quite a while. They had that as part of the status quo. But in the grand scheme of things, no. I think there are not. You have thousands and thousands of superheroes. You have I feel like if I put a gun to your head, could you name 12 who have a obvious physical disability? You have other, you have Hawkeye that has been hard of hearing. But all things considered, there's very little. I can't say with a straight face that the comic companies are infusing a greater than normal percentage of characters. If you were to make that argument about the LGBTQ community, then yes, there's a higher percentage of characters featured and focused on who are gay or transgender in comics than there are in society. There is a higher percentage in the comics, but disabled people, I mean, no, I don't think so. But frankly, if you do it well, like the Barbara Gordon character, being Batgirl, being a little inexperienced. Now, that wasn't what caused the paralysis, but being just younger in her career, being a little bit more prone to potential problems, gets paralyzed, finds that she can still be, super helpful to the heroes as Oracle. That whole dynamic was pretty good storytelling. I mean, I thought it was good. I think that when you introduce a comic character who's like disabled and, trying to rise above and the disability is more of a prop, with the Barbara Gordon situation, the character, it didn't feel like this was done to kind of prove a point. It felt like this was something that the character was overcoming. Like the disability is not going to stop who she was, and it allowed her to be a different kind of hero where her mind was the superpower. Which was pretty cool. I mean, it highlighted it. By contrast, the disabled spider character from the multiverse. Um, there, I mean, well, for one thing, it's like it's an anthology character that you get like 5 pages on. It's barely, blink and you miss it. Was it Sun Spider? Was that who it was? That was T. Williams's thing, wasn't it? Was that? Am I getting this right? Anyway, there's no real character development at all. But I mean, the basics are still the same. The idea is, hey, this character can rise above whatever disability they have. Is that a Marxist idea that people can rise above their disabilities, their setbacks? I don't know. I mean, I don't think that's a socialist Marxist idea. People can be better than they are. Um, Nothing can stop people. Whatever. Look, to me, it has nothing. Whether the book or the comment or the thing is cringy or socialist or God help us Marxist or whatever it is, it has really nothing to do with. To me, it has nothing to do with the disability itself. It's just how the character is written. They had this Sentry character in the wheelchair. That seemed kind of silly. You have the power of the gods, and the character is sitting there in full cape and costume in a wheelchair. Like, okay, uh, you know, sure, why not? Um, but if the character, again, using Barbara Gordon, using some of the stuff, there's some good stories with Hawkeye, kind of overcoming his disability. I mean, there's been, I think if you work it, it's a way to kind of show heroism. Maybe it's inspiring, frankly, to some people who are disabled to say, here's my hero's not going to get stopped. I'm not either. I don't know. I could see that. Sure. Um, if the story is written terribly and stupid and ham-fisted and like it doesn't make any sense, the Century story really didn't make a hell of a lot of sense. That didn't. That's a different problem. But again, I don't know why you have to throw Marxist as a label on it. You could just throw stupid as a label on it. It works just as well. Anyway, there's my take. So now you guys in the comments, help me out. What in the hell? What in the hell? Thanks for listening.